Chris Sutton just delivered a brutal verdict on the Ibrox boss after Celtic's shootout triumph, and he didn't hold back. We've also got breaking transfer news that could change everything for next season. Motherwell's manager has sent a clear warning ahead of the weekend clash, and a controversial VAR decision is causing serious debate. It's been another massive 24 hours for the Hoops, but first make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Chris Sutton believes Danny Roll's pre-match bravado has quickly caught up with him after Celtic knocked Rangers out of the Scottish Cup on penalties at Ibrox. Celtic left Ibrox unbeaten across 2 visits in the space of a week. Martin O'Neill's side came from 2 goals down to rescue a draw in the league on the 1st of March, then returned on the 8th of March and progressed to the Scottish Cup semi-finals after a shootout. Sutton believes the Ibrox boss did little to help himself in the lead-up. The former Celtic striker was unimpressed by Roll's decision to involve himself in debate around Celtic's approach against Stuttgart, O'Neill's goalkeeper selection, and Luke McCowan's claim that Celtic are the best team in the country on their day. Sutton said to Record Sport, "Roll's issue is that he got a bit above his station and got a little bit too cocky. You could see what Martin O'Neill thought about his comments on how Celtic should have played against Stuttgart. That wouldn't have gone down well. I just think Roll started to believe his own hype a little bit. I don't know why he got involved with Luke McCowan's comments. And if I were a Rangers fan, I would be thinking, you haven't won anything yet, Danny. Don't worry about what's going on at Celtic or who Martin should be playing. Concern yourself with your own team. Let's get it right." Talking about Martin in Europe, Roll's record in Europe was rotten. That won't have gone down well with the Rangers' support. The 2 games against Celtic at Ibrox, he would have been thinking, here we go, I fancy this. In fairness, they had the better of the first half in the league game and the majority of the cup tie, but in Glasgow it's all about who comes out on top. I just think Danny's ego has been checked a bit with what's happened. It's better to do your talking on the pitch rather than spout off early, and it's come back to bite him. Sutton's criticism was blunt, but the context around the 2 matches at Ibrox explains it. Celtic had to claw their way back at Ibrox. A week later in the cup tie, there were large spells where the home side again carried the greater threat. None of that mattered in the end. Celtic held their nerve when it counted. Penalties decided the tie, and O'Neill's side delivered. That is the reality of this fixture. Control and momentum only carry weight if the result follows. Managers who step into the public arena before the games are played always run the risk of it turning on them. In this case, Sutton clearly feels that is exactly what happened. The wider title race remains alive, and nobody inside Celtic will pretend otherwise. But walking out of Ibrox after a comeback draw and a cup win inside 7 days shifts the mood. For the supporters, it restores belief. For the players, it reinforces that they can still dictate how this season finishes. What Celtic do with that momentum now will define the weeks ahead. Now for the main story, as Viljami Sinisalo could alter the plan for Celtic to target a new number 1 goalkeeper in the transfer market this summer, sources have told Football Insider. The 24-year-old has taken the starting spot in recent weeks, and the club hierarchy feel that he is doing everything he possibly can to prove that he is worthy of the shirt next season. Kasper Schmeichel's departure from Parkhead is still seen as highly likely ahead of next term, and sources have now indicated that the boys could switch their focus towards adding a new backup gloveman if Sinisalo continues to perform. Celtic plan to add a new shot stopper to their group regardless of what happens between now and the end of the season, but Sinisalo could force a complete U-turn in their initial stance if he keeps doing well. Celtic fans have been growing increasingly frustrated with Schmeichel's performances as the season has worn on, as the Dane has continually made high-profile errors that have cost his team. The former Leicester City star was replaced by Sinisalo for the second leg of the Europa League clash against Stuttgart, and has since been kept out of the team, while not even featuring on the bench since that trip to Germany. Schmeichel has been suffering from illness during that time, but Martin O'Neill had been facing growing pressure to axe him from the starting 11 regardless. Sinisalo has been impressive in his absence, having kept a clean sheet in that clash with Stuttgart before keeping another in last weekend's Scottish Cup win over Rangers. The team are still unbeaten with him between the posts so far this term, and it's clear that he is staking a claim to keep the starting spot for next season. Football Insider revealed on Tuesday that Celtic are weighing up a permanent move for left-back Marcelo Saracchi when his loan deal expires at the end of the season. O'Neill has previously suggested that he is a big fan of what the Uruguayan brings to the table for his team, and he has already outlined that he thinks it would be a good idea for the club to bring him in for next season. However, any chance of Celtic striking a deal for Saracchi is likely to depend on the stance of the player himself. Kieran Tierney is expected to remain as the first choice right back for next term, meaning that Saraki will have to be content with operating in a backup role if he is to make the switch to Parkhead permanently. It remains to be seen how he will feel about that possibility, but it has quickly become clear that it is a crucial obstacle that must be overcome if Celtic are to strike a deal. In other news, Celtic are off the back of the 4 tough away matches that could have defined Celtic's season. Heading into Stuttgart away, 2 trips to Ibrox and Pittodrie, many feared that the Hoops season could be derailed, but Celtic emerged with their heads held high, a win in Germany, up to second in the league and into the semi-final of the Scottish Cup. And now it's on to Motherwell, a tough opponent who have extra motivation as they travel to Parkhead at the weekend. The Well lost to Dundee at the weekend, conceding 2, which is a rarity for them. They had conceded just 6 times in 20 and been unbeaten heading into that fixture. They'll be looking to get back to winning ways, and no better way to do that than against the team looking to retain their league title. Looking ahead to the match, Motherwell manager Jens Berthel Askew said to Sky Sports, "It's just another chance to get 3 points, which is obviously what we're chasing every week because we know we need them, and to be where we are as a football club, where we are competing for positions in the league, where that will take us on a European journey next year, and it's not secured yet. So we need a lot of points still in this league, and we know we have been able to compete and also to win now. We've shown the last couple of times we've played against the best, and we need that belief again when we show up at Celtic Park on Saturday. Celtic needs to go perfectly if they want to win the league title this season. They can't afford any slip-ups to let Rangers ahead of them or give Hearts some breathing space. When the Lanarkshire side travelled to Parkhead earlier this season, they were defeated 3-2. A winner from Dyson Maeda in the 92nd minute, when Brendan Rodgers was still Celtic manager, won the 3 points for the Hoops. Lastly, Celtic thought they had their moment at Ibrox when Dyson Maeda turned the ball into the net during the first half. Liam Scales had flicked the ball into the danger area, and Maeda reacted quickest, bundling it home to spark wild celebrations in the Celtic end. Those celebrations did not last long. VAR stepped in and ruled Scales offside in the build-up, wiping out what looked like a valuable opener for Martin O'Neill's side. On the live broadcast, former Celtic manager Neil Lennon described the freeze frame used for the check as so tight while on co-commentary. When the offside lines were eventually shown, they did little to clear things up. The graphic placed the lines through 2 Rangers players, although the deepest defender did not appear to be included in the final decision. From the images shown, it looked far from conclusive. Scales' trailing left foot did appear to edge beyond the defensive line, but there was also a Rangers defender positioned only a few yards away who looked capable of playing the Celtic centre back onside. The images left plenty of doubt. Michael Stewart, who was on punditry duty for Premier Sports, was unconvinced by what he saw. That's all the latest Celtic news for today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one. Hail, hail.